Hello, 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 and welcome. This is Beverly-fells-Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness, welcoming you to today's show. I am your host and an author, speaker, seminar leader, and person with opinions. How's that? Well, on this show, I talk about how to expand your world of thought. I want to explore that world of positive thinking, law of attraction, and consciousness from many points of view. You know, it is definitely my intention to share with you information that will enlighten you and empower you in your life. I'm here to totally encourage you to think in the positive and to show you that miracles can happen because I truly believe that you have been given the power of the word and thought to create the life that you desire. So, you know, we all have an imagination. We may use it sometimes just to zone out of whatever situation we may be in. We may use it to visualize or imagine what our life could be like in a different situation. We can use it to create the life that we want. And when we use it, we can take and cultivate this imagination to the point that when you come out of that dream world or you come out of that zone out, you go, what? Oh, boy, that was a good one. Because you were so involved in that dream world, in that imagining, that you were really there. You created it in your mind. You created it in your subconscious because when you're doing this, your subconscious is on board. And in reality, when your subconscious is on board, it doesn't know that it's not really happening at all. So the cultivation of your imagination truly leads to the development of an ideal world, an ideal situation. And from that imagination, that cultivation of that true, deep, pretend world that you used to do when you were a child, it will allow that future that you imagine to emerge. And when you're doing this imagination, I want you to do it and say, this or something better. This or something better. How can it get better than this? As you're imagining what else could happen, what else could be that would make this even better. If you dream of winning a scratch off at $1 million, what if it was 2 million or 5 million or 10 million? What if you were imagining that love of your life and the wonderful relationship that you could have, and it was wonderful, and you say this or something better? A deep, abiding love, mutual love. Yes, your constructive imagination actually means a little bit of work. It's a mental work. It's mental labor. And when you do your imagination and you're working mentally, I know many of you have said, I am worn out today. I didn't do physical work, but this mental work just wore me out. I had to think about a lot of things. I had to create a lot of things. This was hard work. And this type of imagination, mental work, construction is considered the hardest kind of labor. But in the end, it will yield you the greatest of returns. You have to cultivate, and I hate saying have to, but in this instance, yes. You have to, you need to, you should want to cultivate that capacity to think outside of the box, to think on your own. Don't be, as the term has been, a sheeple person that just follows things blindly, but to investigate and find out what you need to know to become who you really desire inside you want to be. I was watching online America's Got Talent, and the gentleman's name I think it was Archie Williams. I'll have to look that up, but you look that up. He spent over 30 years in jail for a crime he didn't commit. And he was asked, "How did you do that?" And he said, "My body was in jail, but my mind wasn't." I thought that was just so profound. My body was in jail, but my mind wasn't. Are you in a job that you hate? Are you in a position? You may be listening to this and you are also incarcerated. But you're incarcerated, in a physical building, but you're incarcerated in a situation that you don't want to be in. So don't let your mind keep you down, right? He was in jail, but his mind wasn't. And the other thing he said, he would watch America Got Talent on TV, and he would visualize himself on stage performing. And that also just, whoa, right? And here he was in an ill-fitting suit, and walking with difficulty because probably of things that happened in jail. He gets on the stage and he sings the song, "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me" by Elton John. And as Cowell and the other judges said, they will never, ever in their life listen to that song and hear those words in the same way, because that song related to his time being incarcerated wrongly, deliberately, because they knew he hadn't committed that crime, but tried hard to keep him in jail for life. But he did not allow that to happen. It took some time. I've had some things that come in my life that took many, many years, but they showed up because I never canceled the order. So your greatest returns for all the great things that you have in your life have come to you because you have the capacity to think, to imagine, and allow your dreams to come true. Today, I'm reading from a story in the Manifestations book from a person who wanted to remain anonymous. And the name of her story is A Map a Life You Love. So let's start reading. Map a Life You Love by Anonymous. Concentrate, focus, rehearse, Acting training emphasized the importance of these skills. It didn't occur to me to use these techniques to manifest the help I needed when life as I knew it suddenly ended. It was one of those early spring days when the first grass appears. I was driving to work and feeling blessed to live in a river city when my cell phone broke the reverie of my commute. Caller ID showed it was my husband, and I quickly picked up. "Hi, I'm about to park. Can I call you after?" His reply was equally brief. "We need to talk about sharing custody because I'm done with being married." Ours was a tumultuous relationship between two passionate personalities. We met while I was an actor and he was an engineer exploring acting. We were cast as husband and wife in a community play. Life soon imitated art. We married in less than 12 months and started our new life in a top floor corner apartment near the park. Together, we acted, produced short films, completed the New York City Marathon, founded companies, and created a son. We adored each other. Early in the courtship, he mentioned his father was an alcoholic. He was proud of his father for going cold turkey and remaining sober. Toward the end of my pregnancy, when his drinking escalated, I wonder if he somehow associated the behavior with fatherhood. I felt crushed when he wanted to join his friends at the pub a few hours after I delivered. Before our son turned 2, the hours he spent at the pub almost equaled the hours he spent at the office. Still, at least once every week, the three of us enjoyed an idyllic family experience. I was a new mom, nursing on demand, disoriented in body, mind, and spirit. As his time away from home increased, a co-producer invited him to an AA meeting and me to Al-Anon. One night I was drafting a fearless inventory of my strengths and weaknesses. The exercise resulted in a letter I wrote to myself explaining how I felt when he no-showed night after night. I suddenly got up, scooped up our sleeping child, and walked out of the apartment. Since he arrived home well after the bars closed most nights, I was completely surprised when the elevator opened on the ground floor. There he was, leaning against the lift, flashing his boyish grin. A few minutes sooner or later, and we would not have overlapped. He was proud of himself for coming home early. Midnight was not my idea of date night. He kept cajoling, I kept walking. My broken heart yearned for a tranquil home, love, worthy of commitments kept, and emotional stability. I ached for a full night's sleep and a change of scenery to sort out what honoring our vows might look like going forward. The separation lasted a few weeks. Later that year, we bought a house he was excited to renovate. After months of repairs, with many more needed, we moved in. He spent one night there before I got the call. The new neighborhood could be considered transitional at best. It was the kind of place where stolen bikes and used needles end up, not a place to raise a child alone. We had painted the wall of our bedroom red and hung a large round mirror there to promote marital harmony. So how had my spouse lasted only one night? Reflecting on the sudden divorce, my attorney mused that the feng shui had worked. Without a marriage, there was no marital discord, no disorienting late night arrivals, no tense early morning departures. I didn't contest the divorce. I didn't contest his request for joint custody. I naively believed he was well enough to care for our 2-year-old son. I couldn't imagine the man I fell in love with could be capable of endangering a toddler. Neither of us paid or received alimony or child support. Our son was suddenly thrust into two extremely different households. My partner's separation from me was immediate and complete. This was the lowest point of my life. Did not feel like a manifestation at the time. It looked and felt like a series of failures. Our companies closed. Shared custody proved challenging. Our young son logged hours in local pubs. Hindsight revealed how the divorce served as a catalyst. As excruciating as the unanticipated emancipation was, I began experiencing a stream of unexpected encouraging events. So let me stop here for a moment. Sometimes when we are in the thick of devastating circumstances, sometimes when we think we have failed and things are going wrong, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That catalyst of her divorce, shared custody, that unanticipated emancipation, sometimes it's so painful. It hurts so much. But sometimes, as her attorney told her, that without a marriage, there was no marital discord. So what's going on or has happened in your life that seemed terrible at the time, but turned out to be a blessing in disguise? Leave me a message below. Leave a comment below and share just a little piece of a change that happened to you that was good. Let me go on with her story. The seeds of my heart's desire were planted in the demise of my marriage. Decisions were filtered through two priorities. Number one, does this keep my son safe? And number two, will this choice create an environment where he can thrive? Those two criteria became the fertile soil in which my desires took root. Life seemed to be conspiring to support me. I like that. Life seemed to be conspiring to support me. I have to remember that. In less than a month, a chance meeting during a car repair led to flex time work. My college love re-entered my life after 12 years of no contact, and friends recommended tradesmen to improve the house at rates I could afford. So she kept the house, right? So her two pieces: keep her son safe and create an environment he can thrive. So she met people able to teach me how to harness feelings. I learned that what I think about grows stronger. I began forcing my scared self to interrupt the anxious thoughts by focusing on how I would feel if I achieved my desires. I have to read that line again. I know I'm interrupting the story, but listen. I began forcing my scared self to interrupt the anxious thoughts by focusing on how I would feel if I achieved my desires. And as I said, don't think about what you don't want. Concentrate on what you do. She says, I imagined what a safe and tranquil home felt like. like. Let me say that again. Felt like what a safe and tranquil home felt like. Within a year, I was earning 5 figures a month and enjoying a fulfilling relationship that continues to this day. The practice of focusing on desired outcome activates unforeseen forces of synergy, creativity, and assistance. Do you know what you most want to feel? Secure, appreciated, supported, valued? You can find out by noticing when and where you feel your best and keeping a list. Then using the list as your treasure map. Navigating each day by repeatedly choosing thoughts and actions that promote your desired feelings. Give it a try because you are worth it. My path evolved from business school through a decade of professional acting to the study of touch and energy medicine therapies. My passion is to learn and teach ways to relieve suffering. My professional work involves partnering with physicians and patients in designing a care system that continuously improves health. As the poet Rumi suggests, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. So, harness that feeling of where you want to be, where you feel secured, appreciated, supported, valued, and then make the notes of how and why. If you get the book, Manifesting the Life You Want, Prime Directives to Abundant Feelings, I have a link in there that you can get a copy of how to record the things that you inadvertently manifested and those that you have manifested on purpose. I hope you enjoyed this story, and do me a favor and give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next broadcast, podcast, or video. Thank you for listening today. Please share the link to this show with your friends and family so that they can learn how to be the best that they can be. Visit my website at commandingyourlife.com and follow me on Facebook. Have any suggestions for the show? Just contact me by emailing Beverly at commandingyourlife.com. Be sure to join me on the next episode. As you have believed, let it be done to you, and it is so.